Good morning. It's about 10:30 here, almost. And I want to touch on some things that I briefly gave a preview of in the other videos, and it's going to be on the 12 universal laws. Now, these universal laws govern in every single dimension, and it's a contract between you, source self, which is that which animates your body, and your higher conscious self, as well as your physical self, your emotional self, and your mental self. Um, these laws give us an in-depth understanding of how we unconsciously and sometimes subconsciously conduct ourselves. Whether we are aware of them or they might have come into your purview or someone might have mentioned them before, just because you might not know them does not mean that they don't apply. Okay? It combines the spirit self, the science, the physicality self, and the metaphysical self, which is your thought body and your emotional body, your energetic body, your frequency body, and what you are vibrating at. Okay? So let's dive into it. And the first law is the law of divine oneness. This law states that everything is connected and interconnected. Excuse me. Every life in existence is connected. Every animate and inanimate thing is connected. I spoke on the silver strands that come out of us that are connected to other persons, and they can be outside of distance or proximity and still receive your energy input. Okay. Everything and everyone is the manifest action, which was originally from source energy. Source energy imagined, and then inception occurred, and then source received a body. Source also received a mind, as well as a heart, as well as the frequency. And sometimes we think we are alone. We think, even if there's no physical person around us, we think we might be alone. And really, we've never been alone. In fact, we've always been accompanied everywhere we walked, every thought we thought, every emotion we expressed, every experience that we have lived through. And everything that has occurred thus far, even though you may not have found it in the moment as a pleasurable experience, it was allowed in a certain capacity because it would bring something greater out of you to come. Okay? This isn't to excuse other person's behaviors that they have done to you, but it's to give you a different awareness and perspective to see at a higher picture. Okay? The second one is the law of vibration, which means everything in existence is vibrating. Everything. That means your phone is vibrating even when it's not on vibrate. Book is vibrating. Table is vibrating. People are vibrating. Animals are vibrating. Plants are vibrating. Everything in existence vibrates at its unique frequency. We jump through different frequencies at which we vibrate at. The higher frequencies are the higher emotions that we vibrate at. The lower frequencies are the depressed states of minds, of feelings and emotions. Okay, this is where your fear is at. This is where your anger is at. This is where your frustration's at. This is where your insecurity is at. This is where your doubt is seated in. That's at the lower scale of the energetic frequency. Okay, and we vibrate at those certain frequencies, and throughout the day we might jump through each one of those frequencies or bounce around. But everything has its unique vibrational neutrality. Okay, remember when I said in order to get clarity on something, you would have to go into a calm mind instead of monkey mind where you're bouncing around? Calm mind, neutrality, to see with a more clear, discernible view of the fuller picture that is occurring. Okay, or life experience, circumstances. Law of vibration applies to everybody and everything. Law of divine oneness applies to everything, everybody, in each dimension. Okay, not just the third dimension. Now, the third dimension is made up of physical science laws, such as gravity. You might have heard the term "what goes up comes down" because gravity is pulling it back down to the earth. Uh, some of these may have been referenced in certain textbooks by wiser minds. Let's call it that. Okay. And you might have seen them on or referenced in a film or a book, possibly a coaching seminar. The third law is the law of attraction. Now, before we go too far into this, take a moment and ask yourself within you, what does the law of attraction truly mean to you? Okay? This law states that what you are, what you hold within you, you attract to you, because like will attract to like. So all of the negative emotions that you hold within you, you will attract in experiences that will have negative emotions. All of the higher emotions that you have in you, you will attract experiences of higher emotions into your life. But the law of attraction, people think that if they desire something greatly, that it will come to them. Where the truth is that you actually have to vibrate at that frequency and have a clear mind of thought and connect mind to heart coherence and vibrate at the frequency while donning the image of that which you want to experience in your life. Whether you want more money, whether you want a different lifestyle, whether you want a better career, whether you want to succeed at something that you've been continuously not meeting success at. What is the ideal image that you have in your mind of a person who is successful? Or what might they wear? How might they present themselves? Embodying that image, that mindset, and that emotion set, your physical body and the external environment must line up. So you're embodying the frequency, you're also embodying the identity of that which you want to experience in life. Whatever you desire. What is it that you are actually truly desiring? Now understand, a desire is one that it comes from the heart. Okay? This is something that you're desiring to make yourself greater or better. I should use that term since it'll probably be confounding for some people. Better within, and take that and fashion it into a life purpose to assist other people. The fourth law is the law of correspondence. This states that what you hold within you, you will manifest in your physical world. A phrase you might have heard is as above, so below. As above means that is from within. Below means in your physical world. Okay? As you see it within, the physical world will manifest that. Okay? As you feel it within, the physical world will manifest that. This is why I said when you do imagination and imagination practices and visualization or visual aids, to get very detailed, very specific, excuse me, on it, imagining it so greatly, because as above, which is within, so below, which is the physical third dimension world, comes into your life experience, and it will come in its season. Okay. People, you might go on YouTube and look up law of attraction. People will probably give you this sense of false security that something will arrive or they can help you get something to arrive faster in your life experiences. Honestly, everything has its own time and its own purpose and its own season. And until all metrics are met, you might have a stable mind, but your heart might be out of balance. Or there's something within you physically that's not in balance with heart and mind coherence. It's nothing to put you down. It's not to say that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's not saying that you're not using the law of attraction the right way. It's just getting a deeper understanding and awareness before you take law of attraction at face value. Okay? These will be your thoughts, your limiting beliefs, your feelings, and attachments that you have taken on to yourself. So, what someone else might have said to you, what they think life is, you might have absorbed that into you, and that is actually causing harm to you and creating a block to the thing that you have actually been desiring. Okay? So you actually have to do some self-searching, self-seeking, going within, discovering what blocks might be in the way of manifesting that which you want to experience into your life. Remember, we're not a biased mind at this state, okay? We're not using contrast. We're not using competition. We are looking for our better selves to be elevated, okay? And come into a healthier mindset, a healthier emotional set, a healthier physicality set, okay? The fifth law is the law of action. Now, a lot of people think that you have to work and grind and work really hard, and that's what this law applies to, which it can be misunderstood any greater than that. Yes, inspired action, which means that you are inspired to do something that is in alignment with the desire that you have within. Okay? And it can look like to somebody else that you're not doing anything, or you're not working, or you're not cultivating something or applying something in a time format that produces physical representation of what the third dimension world defines as work. Okay? A way to recognize if you are in alignment with something that you are taking inspired action towards is that you will find it as a challenge, but in the process of that challenge, you will actually find it enjoyable. That's how you know that it's aligned with you. If it feels like a burden and you are getting frustrated with it, it's probably not in alignment with that which you are desiring. Okay? And in that, frustration and anxiety can pop up, and then you can give it an identity and a label and stick it in your file cabinet. It'll pop back up again when a similar circumstance comes back into your experience and triggers it to bring it back out. Okay. The sixth law is the law of cause and effect. This law states that every action has a reaction, which means if you did something, something else has a reaction to that, whether it's people, places, or things. Okay, if you thought something of someone, there is a reaction to that thought. If you felt something of somebody, there is a reaction to that thought or that feeling that you hold within, and you're going to experience it, whether it's a recall of images. Even if you separated from them physically, you're still going to get it coming back in until that portion of that is resolved, expressed, and released. Okay. This law is closely parallel to karma. All right, what you send out comes back to you, or you reap what you sow. What you are planting in other people's lives, what you are planting in your own soil, will come to be reaped. Okay, and this is where you have the freedom of choice. You have the choice to choose what's getting planted in your garden, what's getting planted in your karmic strands, what is getting planted in your cause and effect. What do you want to experience? If you want to experience being loved, you must be that, and you must show that and express that in order for that to come back to you. If you are expressing anger, frustration, violence, insecurity, you're going to draw into your experience those things because you hold them within and you are expressing them in a capacity that's not for releasing, but to show what you are holding. So when you're expressing and you're showing what you are holding versus releasing and letting go, this is the reason why I stated that you are not doing it to somebody, but you're bringing it out of you. Okay? When you do it to somebody, they're like mirrors. They will reflect that. And sometimes that cause and effect will happen in the same moment. Being negligent of your actions does not excuse the behavior that you are displaying. Okay? What we think, what we feel, what we do will always come back to us. Even when we do it in secret, it will always come back to us because we hold it within us. And in order for the outside world to come into our life, something within us has to attract that to us. Circumstances, people, places, things. Okay? If you want a sense of security, you must develop the security within you. If you want a sense of happiness, you must bring the happiness that is within you to the surface. Remember I said joy and happiness is already something that's in you. It's not something out there. It won't bring you it. If you're looking for joy and happiness out there, it's only going to be a temporary moment of time that you are going to be satisfied until you jump to the next thing, or you become unsatisfied by something else that comes into your purview and you erase that thing that you were satisfied for in just that moment of time. Okay? This also happens with tasks, chores, requests of fulfillments. You're satisfied that it's completed, and then you jump to another thing without rendering the actual appreciation and gratitude in the sincerity of that. Remember, task masking, everything will be completed in its season of time. Okay? Elements may not be presented. There might be things that variables have not come in to make that cohesiveness occur. Okay? It's not to give you a view that things never get done. It's to give you a view of patience. Understanding that patience goes a long way where temporary satisfaction is diminished and gone. Okay? Be happy by the things that people can assist you with. Are you happy because they are in your life, or are you happy because they can do something for you in your life? That's the real question that you should ask within. Okay. And you're gonna have your disagreements. You're gonna have your things that you might not like, or you might highlight some of the dislikes. It's completely healthy as long as you treat the relationship in a healthy manner. Once you start casting and you start spelling with your words in a degree that puts the other person down, you're no longer being in a healthy relationship. You're now being in a chaos relationship. So bring back the stillness and mind of balance and neutrality. And you will be able to work with your partner in resolving the thing that might have been a dislike. This will take some time, and ego will try to pop up and will tell you to, I'm not going to do this, I don't want to do that, etc., etc., but not realize it's actually for your own growth and potential to actually become better and healthier. But ego thinks it knows better because we give it power, and the only thing the ego has is historical experiences in our file cabinet. It has nothing to know what's to come. But it also knows how to use these laws of these governing universal laws, and it uses them. And that's why everything you do in secret will come back in to your purview, whether it's in people, whether it's in places, whether it's in things. The law of compensation. This does not mean it's only about money. This is an equal exchange, okay? Some will use the form of energetic currency, which is money in the third dimension, to receive something. You can also use this law of compensation that states what you give out comes back to you, okay? You can give blessings. You can give goodwill. You can give words of encouragement. You can give words of strength. That comes back to you. When you give words of doubt, words of frustration, words of anger, that comes back to you too. So being mindful, mindfulness, being mindful of your thoughts and your emotions that you are sending out, because you are going to receive them back to you. Okay? What about meaningful connections? Have you been having either relational connections, work connections, and there's just been this break? There's like been this wall between you, and it hasn't been quite broken through to resolve some of the issues that are going on. Maybe it's because there's work in both that has to be done that's from within. Trying to change something on an external force or external circumstance doesn't solve the root problem that is within you. Okay? You got to work within you to uproot that which keeps coming back into your experience. Okay? Law of compensation. What you give out will come back to you. Practice the art of kindness. Practice the art of patience. Practice the art of lovingness. And I'm not talking about conditional loving. I'm saying love even if something doesn't fit in your paradigm of like or dislike. Okay? That love that you're expressing is the source love, not your carnal love. Okay? That love you give out can never be stolen. And it can't be taken from you either. The only way for someone to get that love from you is by you willingly giving it. Yeah. Law of compensation. What you give out will come back to you. Okay? In whichever form or of energy that you give it out. Okay? Law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Okay, remember when I said that you can transmute and you can transform and you can transfigure energetically, right? So you received an experience that was probably unfavorable, and you might have zeroed in on the unfavorable portion of it and not seen the bigger picture of what was occurring. You can transmute, you can't change the occurrence that has happened, but you can transmute the energy that you had absorbed into you of that experience and you built an attachment to. You can transmute that energy and send it outward for greater potential to come. Okay? This is taking ownership and responsibility for your own well-being and the well-being of other people that you have afflicted. Okay? You ever heard the term energy flows where attention goes? So what you are focusing in on, your energy is going to. All right. If you're focusing on something that didn't get done, your energy's flowing to that thing, and completely ignoring the things that did get done. Right? If you are focusing on what you don't have, your energy is flowing to that what you don't have, and you have a mindset of scarcity or lack thereof. And so you compare and contrast in your physical world. You might experience other people having more abundance than what you might have, because you don't have you're not exercising with an abundant mindset. You're exercising with a lacking mindset. Lacking mindset is down here on the frequency. Abundance mindset is up here on the frequency. If you want to experience abundance in your life, you have to vibrate at the level of abundance. You have to uproot that limiting belief that keeps you in the idea of not having enough, or it's too much, or we can't afford this, etc., etc. Those become limiting beliefs, and those become blocks in other people from them succeeding. But they don't know about it because it's under the unconscious awareness that it gets filtered into you. A lot of the times this conditioning occurs from younger ages, before adulthood. So then in adulthood, you are repeating the same words that other people have said, that they have said from other generations, and there's no truth to it whatsoever. It's just you're believing in the obscurity of the truth, which is actually an illusion. Yeah. So the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. You can transmute the energy in the room. You can put your hands up, and you can transmute the energy in the room. If it feels like it's not so inviting, and it's like your dwelling place, or it's a space that you have been invited to, you can put your hands up and move the energy in the room and transmutate it into higher vibration or neutrality. Okay. The next law is the law of relativity. Now, you might have heard of this through school, branching off of the Albert Einstein, who's stated theory of relativity. But rather, theory of relativity is a 3D plane existence statement, rather than the universal law that goes beyond the dimensions of existence, called the law of relativity. Now, this law states experiences are neither good nor bad until you assign a label to the experience. If you were in a calm mind and you're experiencing something, it does not get a good or bad label till you assign it, and then it goes in your file cabinet. This is why I said you might feel higher on your energy scale, or you might feel lower on your energy scale, and you might associate it with something that you have historically experienced, and it now creates a connection. And now when that file comes out of your file cabinet, another image might come out of your file cabinet because you connected it with that energy. Breathe in, come down, release. You uproot. But law of relativity. When you assign something, this is also relative to judgments or biased opinions. What you hold as your personal truths and declare out of your mouth, or your thoughts or your emotion, of what might be right or wrong, what might be good or bad. An action that someone might have taken that was designed to actually encourage you to grow through rather than to judge. It was to show something that was within yourself that needed addressing and releasing. You will experience that until it's been resolved and released, and constantly in a hamster wheel. The next law is the law of polarity. This law states that everything has an opposite. So you have hot, you have cold. You have light, you have dark. You have right, you have wrong. Sadness, happiness. Fear, courage. Everything has an opposite. Okay? In order for you to appreciate one, you have to experience the other. If you didn't experience the other, you would not truly appreciate that which actually made you rise in energetic frequency. Okay? You have to have both of them. Okay? And part of this is also the masculine and feminine, but we'll jump into that in a little bit, as that's probably the next law that's going to be coming up. Up and down. There's another one. And you can find and this is really your contrast, where this is healthy contrast. Healthy contrast gives you an open, objective view of how you can grow through that thing. So when something that has come into your life experience that was probably not very pleasurable, it actually had the capacity to bring out a different perception of it, to show an appreciation of something, to either not continue doing that pattern or to grow up from. Remember, everything is a foundation. Everything you experience in life is a foundation that you grow up from. Okay? But see some of the contrasts that you might be holding within you that you have assigned polarities to. Okay? See if some of those things need some working on. Cool? Moving on. Next law is law of rhythm. This law states that nothing is permanent. Everything you experience is temporary. Every single thing is temporary. Nothing is permanent. When you attach to something, that's when something feels like it has been permanently taken away from you. You can attach it to people, you can attach it to things, you can attach it to ideas, limiting beliefs, thoughts, emotions. It's all in that same realm. Okay? But each in that still understanding, this law states that because nothing is permanent, everything has its season. A season of growth, a season of challenge, a season of rest, a season of rejuvenation. Okay? A season of purpose and function. When I say season, you're probably thinking spring, fall, summer, winter, those seasons. Those are just 4 seasons that we have defined in the physical realm, in the 3rd dimension realm. Okay? We also have seasons of thoughts. We also have seasons of emotions. We also have seasons of those things that we want to manifest into our life, but still has to meet the threshold of that time to manifest physically into the material world. Okay? This law actually works really closely and greatly with gratitude and appreciation. When you practice gratitude and appreciation rather than not measuring up to or not meeting an expectation to, you actually open yourself up to more experiences of appreciation and gratitude. When you close it off to not measuring up or not meeting expectation, you open yourself up to more experiences of those things. Law of rhythm. Okay. Next one is law of gender. This is not what you probably think it is if you're thinking it as a physicality. Okay. Law of gender means masculine and feminine. And yes, every single person has both. If you have masculine, you're probably creative, problem solver. If you have too much masculine, you might be showing, or an unbalance of masculine, you might be showing anger, frustration, violence, temperaments. If you have in your feminine energy, you would see more of caring, nurturing, providing in a wellness way. If you have too much of that, you may have irritability, you may have impatience, you may have a mindset of, I don't need to change anything, I don't want to change anything. Those are all perfectly healthy to give you a focal view of a higher perspective, okay? Again, we appreciate the things, even when we may not feel like it in the moment, because something greater of us is coming out, all right? This is how we become healthy. We remove that which shouldn't be within us. It might have served us for a small duration or a small season, but it's time to let it go, okay? Because all it's doing is causing more harm on top of harm. And then you add more stress of a new day, and you add more stress, and it builds in cellular blocks until it becomes a big enough stressor that it has a physical complication, and now you have to see a medical doctor or a nurse or a practitioner to help remedy that, okay? Trust the process, okay? I know it sounds too simple, but it really is that simple. Just trust the process. Don't rush it. Be patient. Because when we rush things, we get in our own way and we sabotage ourselves. But when we send it out there and we declare it with our words, with our thoughts and our emotions, and we're open to receiving, there's nothing more you need to do. It's now the universe's job. Stop taking the universe's job. Let it do its job. You have free will. So if you decide to keep picking it up and thinking you can do better with our carnal limited intelligence rather than our spiritual intelligence, the universe doesn't have a carnal body. So it's not limited by carnal intelligence, but rather superior intelligence. So it knows what to do. Just trust the process. It's okay if it doesn't look like it's coming here today. It doesn't look like it's coming tomorrow. It doesn't look like it's coming within the month. It's okay. Keep trusting the process. Because once you stop that trust and you jump back into ego and you go back into comparing and contrasting and competing, you step in your own way and you sabotage that which you sent out there. Yeah. So law of rhythm, law of gender requires both a little bit of balancing with inside yourself, okay? You have two hands. If you wish, you can assign the left hand as the feminine energy and the right hand as the masculine energy. And when you are doing energy movement, you are clearing the feminine energy and you are clearing the masculine energy to bring it into harmony in a neutral, cohesive relationship, okay? A balance. These laws aren't built on physical science, all right? You will experience these laws. Every single one of these laws you will experience. You may not have the knowledge or understanding or awareness to actually peek into until I have brought it to your attention, which I'm probably in this position to bring it to your attention for a reason, and this video has made its way to you specifically because of it. But the physical sciences and laws are third dimension, whereas these supersede third physicality dimension, okay? Yes, even dreamscaping. Remember dreamscaping and dream weaving? When you are asleep, you are jumping into a higher dimension. And then you are seeing from a larger picture within your dreamscape, and you have the ability to do the same thing. Transmutation of energy. You push your hands around within your dream, and you can change the content of your dreams. Yep. But not knowing and becoming fearful because of what you see, because it might elicit a anxiety or panic attack from the experience that you historically had, it's just telling you that you have this in your file cabinet, and it thinks that you are strong enough to approach it from a neutral mind and resolve it and release it. Okay. There's nothing to be afraid of. Absolutely nothing. In fact, the only time that we should ever kick into our fight and flight response is when there's actual, real, immediate danger. Okay? And I'm saying danger, not fear. Okay? Fear comes from experiences. Danger comes from openness and awareness. Okay? But that is where the universal laws get their name. They are universal. And just as source within you, or that which animates your body, God, Great Father in the sky, and any other terms that are out there cross-culturally to identify your source that is within you, that you pray to or you give reverence to, that is which animates you. That's not to be confused with life force energy. Life force energy is what flows around you, within you. And life force energy is, limitless. You can use it all day long if you want. Drink water, because water is conducive to using energy. All right. In your physical body, you transform food. You transmute food. It's not an unheard of characteristic, but because it's not been widely taught in traditional schools, it sounds like something new age or culty or something that's not resonating here or there. Actually, these universal laws are the same laws that great sages, advisors, and sages are basically people that have great wisdom and knowledge, that have sought the understanding beyond the third dimension physicality limitations of information, and have shared that information down lineages. A sage can be a spiritual teacher. It can be a person that's a philosopher. It can be a person that's a coach. At another time in history, okay? You might have some modern day people, but they don't really call themselves sages. But you have spiritual teachers, advisors, counselors, in different arenas. And sometimes one arena might not jive with what belief system that you have, or limited belief that you are holding with you. But if it's meant for you, you will resonate not in a fearful way. You will resonate in an inviting way. Meaning that, so if you were to use crystals and you were to hover your hand over the crystals, it's not the energy bouncing off your hand, it's the energy coming from the crystal that is communicating with the energy that's in your hand. And if it's in harmony, it's going to resonate with you. If it's in disharmony, it's either not going to show any, it's either not going to complement it or relate in a cohesive way, and you're probably going to feel like repelled from it, okay? Which is completely normal, all right? It just means that there might be something that's within you that needs addressing in order for that connection to occur. It's okay. We make connections. We want people in our lives. Sometimes we experience relationships or connections that didn't go that great, and we're looking for something that will bring a better experience. But remember, I said the other day, when you ask for something and it's not very specific, you're going to get them and the luggage they are carrying within themselves too. Okay? But this is where you work together in harmony, not judgment. Okay? Compassion, not guilt. Compassion, not shame. Okay? That's where you open yourself up to growth in a relationship. People could divorce at any given time. It's the ones who decide early on that whatever comes in our way, we will approach it with openness, understanding, love, and compassion. Non-judgmental, non-biasness, non-limiting belief. Okay? And they grow in their relationship. And they will stay for many years together. It's how you will perceive what a relationship really means to you. And it's not your ego. What it means to you in your desire within your heart. Okay? What you want to experience in your relationships, you must embody and actually be that which is within in order for your outside world to reflect it. Okay? Everything is a reflection. Everything is a mirror. People are mirrors. Environment is mirror. And everything's going to be reflected back to you that you are within you. Okay? Bugs keep flying around me this week. I don't know why. But go through some of those laws, and I want you to go do your research, okay? Today, I'm giving you homework. Go do some research on these universal laws and see what connection you can make with them to open a more profound understanding rather than just face value information, okay? Go in depth. And when you feel like you've had enough of that, go into meditation. Come back to it. Pick it back up. Read it again. When you feel like you've had enough of that, find another connecting source that connects to that. And build your spider branch, and you will probably have a connector of many things that if you were to speak them at one over here and one over here, it may not sound connected, but by the time you get done with your series, every single aspect in your repertoire connects. That's what you experience when you remain open and honest, and you want to deliver information from a deeper and higher mindset, okay? Love you. Be well, be well, be well.